Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates. And we are in the last video, very last video in the process here of selling your home. And if you've watched this series of videos and made it this far, first of all, I want to congratulate you on being a prepared seller. Most people, when they go into selling their home, really don't know what the process looks like and what they're getting themselves into. And for me, it's really important that buyers and sellers know what they're doing and getting themselves into in the real estate process. And this is the last video. This is the closing of that process, and we'll jump into that video right now. Step number 10. This is the finale. This is the end. This is the closing process. And as a seller, you have typically a 30 to 45 day waiting period here until the closing after you get mutual acceptance or negotiate offers with the buyer. The seller at the beginning of the process has a whole bunch of work to do, getting the house ready to go on the market, doing the showings, coordinating those. But once your house is under contract, most of the burden falls on the buyer to get to the end. And as a seller, this is where your job picks back up. We're almost there. A few things that are going to happen at the end. Number one, you want to make sure that any repair requests or things that you've agreed to during the inspection period are fulfilled a few days prior to closing, and those receipts or certificates are provided to the buyer. Those are things you would provide to me and I would provide. The second thing you're going to do is sign your closing documents, and the escrow company will schedule this signing with you. If you're local, a lot of times they like to have you come into the office. If you're not local or it's not convenient, they can set up a notary to meet you where you're at. So you don't have to be here. You could be on vacation if you want to during the closing process, but you'll want to make sure that you get your documents signed prior to the closing date. Now that you've signed your documents, we're just waiting for the closing date. And on the closing date, a couple things are going to happen. The first thing, the buyer's loan is going to fund. So the buyer's going to make their final payment for down payment, closing costs, and then their loan is going to fund. So the lender is going to wire over the remaining funds. Once the escrow company has received those funds, then they are going to send off the documents to get recorded or archived with the county. So depending on what county you're in, and again, if you're in my area, we're talking about Snohomish County or King County, the documents will get recorded with the county, and at that point, that's when the transfer of ownership happens and the house goes from yours to the new buyers. At this point, it's over. The sale's done. You went through this process of getting your house ready, getting it on the market, and getting it closed. And I know for you, if you're watching this and you're a seller, you're also wondering when you get your money. And typically the escrow company will wire out your funds the next business day or have a check ready for you to mail out the next business day after the transaction closes. I hope you found this guide to selling your home helpful. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you're most likely pretty serious about selling your home and getting it on the market. So I hope that this content brought some value to your situation and that you found it helpful. If you are in the Seattle area and you are thinking about selling your home and want to talk a little bit more about what that process looks like, I'd love to be a resource for you, and you can feel free to reach out.